Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Livewire TV. I'm super excited to have you here joining us this evening or morning, whatever time of day you're watching this. I know we get viewers from down in New Zealand and Australia. We're broadcasting live across YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook simultaneously. If you're new here, welcome. Livewire TV is the place where we like to interview business experts all around business strategies, marketing strategies, and mindset strategies as well. And ultimately, the purpose of Livewire TV is to help you guys grow through the current situation and give you guys some inspiration and some tips. Livewire TV is a part of Livewire Media, where we do corporate videography and video marketing. So this week, I'm super excited to have on actually a previous client of mine, the amazing Kamran Saleem from MotorServ. Kamran, welcome to Livewire TV.
Hi, Rainy. Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here.
So Cameron and I have known each other for quite a couple of years now, I think, and we just hit it up straight away. We're both very ambitious, motivated, driven kind of people who just want to build things big. We're both fascinated with like how things work. Cameron more so in the car space, and me more so in the camera space. So when I was working with Cameron before, I got a glimpse into his backstory. I knew that he was very passionate about cars right from the beginning, and he's literally turned his passion into a massive business. So for those of you who don't know about MotorServ UK, they're an amazing company. They do car sales. So if you need a new car, they are the person to go to, or the people to go to for that. If you need your car fixed up, they are the people to go to for that as well. And the level of service that they deliver, and I know I'm not biased in saying this, the level of service that they deliver is literally next level. And what Cameron has actually done, which is one of the reasons why I'm super excited to bring him on today, is he's actually scaled up his business. And he's done that over like several years. And he's also done that during the pandemic. So at a time when a lot of businesses were shutting down, facing foreclosure, and I hate to say it, going through a lot of struggle, Cameron was actually busy scaling up, which is a pretty significant thing. So Cameron, welcome to Livewire TV. Give us a bit of a brief introduction as to who you are and what you guys do at MotorServ.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rahini, once again, and thanks for such a lovely introduction as well. It's very nice of you. But yeah, obviously we've known each other a few years. You've had a good insight into our business because you've been involved in quite a bit of the media over the years. So yeah, but as you said, I've always been passionate about cars. I set up in business straight off the bat from university in 2005. And the business has basically evolved over the years, and it's turned into what it is today, which is MotorServ UK. And yeah, we've just been scaling things as we've been growing. And so basically, here at MotorServ, we offer a main dealership alternative for car servicing, repairs, MOTs, and tyres, which is the main bread and butter of the business. And on top of that, we also operate quite a significant car sales department now, where we can source any used or new car for your needs, either for business or for personal use. And we're also a finance broker, so we can actually finance your purchase as well.
Fantastic. Guys, can you comment in the comment section below and ask any questions? Cameron, I want to start with your background to start with, because I know that you had a passion pretty much since day one about cars. Anything to do with cars, you're a bit of a petrol head. Did you always know that one day you're going to run this amazing company?
No, it was obviously it was in my mind somewhere subconsciously, but it was really because my background's actually finance and accounting. So like through university, through my initial few years of my career, I was doing finance jobs and accounting jobs, and really it just stemmed from my own personal, because I always bought my own cars, always bought the cars for my family members and my friends and things, and it just turned commercial. So as soon as I started working in accountancy, I just used to get clients asking me, like, I'm buying this car, I'm buying this van for the business, and it just started turning into we started doing the finance packages for all the cars, and then helping clients basically find those cars and just get the best deals on them, and looking at like what the latest models were, what's coming, what's desirable. So it just turned into basically started consuming all my time. So the accountancy took a back burner, I was actually technically fired by my father in the family firm because he just said that look, you're not really doing much with us. You've got all your own stuff going on. So he actually helped me and guided me to set up my own limited company at the time.
Well,
And really, yeah, so I went independent.
just to backtrack a bit, because it's not every day that like people get fired by their own family members, let
Yeah.
alone their father. What was that like?
No, it was good. It was a step in the right direction because it sounds dramatic being fired, but basically, we had to sit down and we were looking at what I was actually doing in the firm, where I was spending
Yeah.
all my time, and it was basically I was just absolutely overwhelmed by demand for cars and demand for the finance. So he suggested I set up on my own and start putting the earnings and the commissions kind of into a separate company,
Yeah.
and that started in 2005, and just remained independent from there on.
Ah, amazing.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been running for?
Well, the business started in 2005 as a kind of separate entity, like from the kind of family firm that was there before that. Because my parents have been in business since the late 70s in the Birmingham area, so they had a very established, very highly networked business in the accountancy field. So I've had that upbringing. So I've seen what my father's done. I've seen what how to network like with clients and things, and how to build relationships and things. So I think I got that from my father, and just really my expertise lied in it still does hopefully still was in the car industry, was in the finance products and things, and that's where my interest lay. And luckily I was very fortunate that turned into a commercial enterprise, and I started getting paid for what I like to do. So obviously I
Amazing.
enjoyed it, so I grew it quite quickly in the initial years, and it turned into I had to get employees, I had to get a team around me, and it's kind of spanned from there.
Now, you mentioned that you did a lot of networking and building relationships to begin with. Have you got any tips around building successful relationships and networking?
Yeah, it was. I think from an early point in the business, because 2005 when I first started, it was actually pre-Facebook, so there wasn't really that much social networking going on. But there was the internet, which was quite it was quite expansive and it was growing at the time. What I actually did, which was quite really a groundbreaking moment for us in the business, I actually attached myself to because I was looking for customers. Who are the customers that are buying these cars? Where do they kind of hang around?
Mm.
And I needed to look on a national basis because obviously clients for particular types of cars, you're not going to find them on the side of the street kind of thing. And there weren't as many networking events around at the time that there are
So
now. Now we're very fortunate. So
you were looking for very specific buyers then?
yeah, basically. And at the time, that was online forums. So there was
Oh,
like ownership groups. So Audi TT forum, Audi RS forum, Range Rover Sport, Disco 3, Disco 4. And I just attached myself as a sponsor, developed relationships with people on there. And I used to hold, we hold a number of events in Birmingham, and all the
yeah.
members used to come along. And then, you used to get to know everyone. And as they say, the relationship capital is greater than any other capital. So I developed a lot of
Mm.
customers from that, and repeat customers and referrals through that online, which was fantastic because they're evergreen and they kind of stay there. So
Yeah.
any new member joining, because these groups had like 14,000 members, 20,000 members, and they're all kind of the same type of people. So kind of
Yeah.
middle managers, company owners, company directors, etc., all looking to part exchange their existing car for a brand new Audi TT, a brand new Range Rover Sport, Range Rover, full fat we used to call it. So I used to attach myself to those groups, and I used to just get a lot of repeat custom from there, and that was really the building blocks. And so I'd say that was early social media networking, really.
Wow, amazing. Just want to welcome the new viewers. Welcome from Facebook and LinkedIn. Super psyched to have you here. We have a new viewer with us. Amazing. So welcome to, I hope I pronounced your name correctly and I don't butcher it. Deb Giotti. I would love to know like where you're from and what you do for a living. Do comment below as you're new here. So welcome. So Cameron, like what were the main challenges that you came up with when you first initially started your business?
Initially, it was like I mentioned, finding the customers. Once I found the customers, is actually
Yeah.
developing a process internally to actually be able to handle volume. So that's when I had to take on more staff members, and started to grow the team. And then it was finding suppliers because obviously the banks at that time, 2005, Up until 2008, everything was kind of hunky dory. We used to have like a couple of banks, and kind of everything used to go through them. Then we went through the financial recession, which kind of it ended the business kind of over that period, because the banks just pulled out of the market completely. So, and then obviously people weren't buying these flash cars anymore. Everyone was
Right.
looking to get rid of them. So it was a big turning point, really. It became a big problem for us.
And what was going through your mind at that point? What did that feel like?
Literally, we were at a point where we were starting to dig out our CVs, and we were starting to build our CVs up, ready to look for jobs. It got to that point, and it was like, what are we going to do? No one's buying cars. You know, our service just became kind of obsolete. It wasn't in demand, and we didn't know when it was going to kind of kick back in. Because obviously, it was a
Mm.
very deep recession. It was a big problem for everyone. But we just had to diversify. So at that point, we started looking around for other opportunities. And yeah, we bought a transport company in Birmingham, which actually belonged to one of our clients. And it was having
Okay.
that deep relationship with clients. So we always used to have discussions with people, find out what they were doing. And we got offered a company that was, we were handling all the court services in Birmingham. So it
Yeah.
was transport and kind of protection services for the high court judicial staff. So it was a very very good job, and
Yeah.
we ran that for a period of 8 years, from 2008 to 2016, and we got on really well with the kind of the court staff and the kind of the lodging staff. So that turned into a nice little business, really.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
So from pretty much sinking, you
yeah.
you managed to turn it around.
Yeah, I think you have to be adaptable, because obviously no
Yeah.
one knows. Like, look what's just happened in the last 12 to 18 months. Like, look at COVID. It's knocked everyone sideways. Yeah, no one.
Yeah.
No, this time, in December 2019, I remember Boris Johnson coming on saying 2020 is going to be our year. It's going to be the best year. And yeah, look what was down the road in 2 months' time. We're on complete lockdown. So, and
Mm.
if you can't adapt, if you can't develop your resources so they are interchangeable and you can do other things, then you know things like that will affect you, unfortunately.
I think you have to adapt because I know that when I brought my car into you guys for an MOT last year,
Yeah,
everything had pretty much changed.
yeah, that's
But
it. All the processes, everything that we had to do. And I think now, because of the experiences that I've had on early on in the period, I am quite, I wouldn't say paranoid, but I'm very cautious of where our eggs are, which basket they're kind of sitting in, and I'm always looking at like different strategies and different problems that could arise, and it's kind of disaster management. People talk about it on a kind of IT level, but you got to look at it from a market level as well. What could go wrong? What could be the biggest problem that your business could face? Like, could you survive?
yeah.
And and then when things do happen, then your kind of mindset is kind of you're prepared for it.
So how have things changed for you since COVID?
Because we're quite our marketing's quite dynamic online, because obviously most of our stuff's through social media, it's through existing databases, etc.
Yeah.
So when COVID first hit, we were in the same position as everyone. We didn't really know what was going to happen, how things were going to turn out, and how things were going to look in April and May. So we just dug in. Basically, we were constantly looking at all the news and just constantly looking at all the information available, and we were very fortunate because the service side of the business, so like the MOT services, the vehicle maintenance, we were allowed to stay open. We were considered to be essential services.
Yeah.
So then it was like, but the customers aren't coming out because everyone's on lockdown. So
Yeah.
again, we had to look at the customers that were going out, the essential workers, the key workers, the NHS staff. So we launched a big NHS campaign. So we started
Okay.
helping people in the NHS. We started offering preferential services to NHS workers, and that works really well. We had, luckily, I know quite a lot of doctors in the Birmingham surrounding area, so I was able to go across WhatsApp groups and really push it out. Almost asking for help. Like, look, guys, anyone need any work doing? We'll be able to give you a very good deal at the moment. So please, send your cars down, and they all obliged. We're very very fortunate to have a really good network, and everyone helped out, and even some of the groups that you're part of, the Pathway to Grow. I remember put a post on there, and I had about probably 10, 15 cars through there. They all
Wow.
came forward just saying, yeah, my car needs a service, if you can pick it up and drop it off. So because we're shielding, you can take the car and get it sorted out. So it help from the network, help from people that were able to kind of just keep tinkering along, really.
Amazing. And I know that as a garage and as a business owner, you operate a little bit differently. So what
Yeah.
sets you apart from your competition?
Well, I think it's because I'm pretty much probably the same as you, Rahini. I know as much about cars and car maintenance as the average Joe, basically. I'm not handy. I'm not a mechanic. I've never done an auto service in my life. It's the
Yeah.
kind of, we entered the business as a kind of like evolution of the car finance and the car supply. Yeah, we had a lot of clients in the area and surrounding, so it's kind of like, what are we not doing? We could offer services, we could offer MOTs, we could offer all the stuff that we do to our
Mm,
clients, and we could grow a retail kind of business off the back of it, which is
yeah.
what we've done. So I had to learn the business quite quickly, learn how things operate, but really it's been systems and processes being put in place. So looking at each department, like we get a lot of trade negative kind of feedback and comments about our MOT deal, because obviously our MOT is one of the cheapest in the UK. And they all say things like, how do you do that? Like, you're operating at a loss. Like, surely, it can't be right. But it's, we just consider it a loss leader. It's something that everyone requires every single year. So it's our biggest lead magnet. So we bring a lot of people to our business, and, then because we don't look at one hit invoice kind of thing, one hit customer, it's a lifetime value of that customer. So if they come to us for an MOT, like you have, then chances are you're going to come back to us for a service. You're going to come back to us. Your light comes on, your engine management light comes on your car. Who are you going to call? Who's remained front of mind and who you've been bringing your car to every year? Because our MOTs are 15 quid, us, and that's kind of worked. So it's a bit of a snowball effect. So we didn't go for the short term, get everyone in and just try and like get as maximum out of their invoice as possible. It's more like build value for the customer and then help them feel part of us, and that's where the gold membership plan came from. And we've vertically integrated the products, so they're kind of moving through a value chain. So and
Mm.
it's worked really well. So and we're hoping to keep expanding on that.
Talk to us about your £15 MOT.
Okay. Well, it's like I said, it's something that everyone needs. Everyone that's got a car over 3 years old, you're going to need your statutory MOT test once a year when that expires. So we thought, why should a customer that has to have that done be paying 52 quid, 45 quid, 40 quid? So we just thought, right, we're going to make it, because to be fair, we were even toying with the idea of making it free, but
Mm.
unfortunately, people, if you say free MOT, they just associate negative like connotations to that. Like, are they going to fail it? It's not going to be done right, etc., etc. So we had to assign a value to it. So we just, £15 was a nice figure, and it's gone really well. So we're one of the
Just to give
busiest
our
DVS centres.
American and Australian viewers a bit of context as to how
Yeah,
much that is. It's roughly about $100, and it's a compulsory thing that we have to pay in the UK in order for us to be able to drive our cars legally. So 100 quid have to go out through every year. So, Cameron, when did you realise that? Like, what was going through your mind when you realised that you can you can class the MOT sector of your business as, or the lead generation of it, as a loss?
yeah,
Like, what was going through your mind? Because obviously a lot of garages would look at their MOT services and they think, I can't drop my prices.
yeah.
What 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 were you kind of thinking at that point?
Is to do that. It was the introduction of the client to the business. We're not just an MOT centre; we do everything. So we need to introduce as many customers kind of into that process as possible, and we need them to keep coming back. Because the only bad thing about this business is we need a constant stream of between 400 and 600 cars a month. So we need a
Mm,
high volume of customers coming through. So we needed a big lead attraction, and that was the £15 MOT. So that worked really well. And
wow.
the business has picked up since then, and it's kept growing and growing every year. So, and it's like you say, it's scaled. It's scaled to a high level now. So the £15
Wow.
MOT is relatively moot point. Even if we turn that into £45, it's the number of MOTs we do a month. It wouldn't make a significant difference to us. So we just keep it at £15 because everyone knows us for that now and they're happy with it.
Yeah. It's almost like your tagline, I think.
That's the thing.
Like,
If we turned it into a MotorServ UK, the home of Solihull's £30 MOT, it would just be a bit like, huh? They were 15
yeah.
quid before. So, and it wouldn't, the number of MOTs you do for that extra £15,
Yeah.
you probably get a lot of negativity from that as well. So we just thought we'd just keep it at £15.
Now you mentioned that when you kind of introduced it, and I imagine still to this day, you get a bit of heat from competitors saying,
Yeah,
basically trolling, trolling
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Did that ever affect you?
No, it's kind of when they did start to come through. When you start getting the comments, you kind of I understand why we get the comments because the way their business models are set up is
Mm,
different to ours. We've got a lot of capacity here. The MOTs is really it's like one lane in the corner of it's a twin lane now, but it's in the corner of the premises. The main
yeah,
action goes on in the kind of service and repairs. So the MOTs are relatively something that we just do for clients because they have to have it done. So
yeah,
whereas we don't really look at it as a profit center, whereas most garages do. They look at it as bread and butter income coming in. So we're more after the services and the repairs and your tires and your brakes and the heavier ticket items. And by giving everyone a £15 MOT, we're introducing you to our garage, introducing you to our business and service, and
yeah,
hopefully you like it. And people tend to because we've made it as best experience as possible, really.
amazing. And you mentioned about your customer lifetime value as well.
Yeah,
How do you ensure that your customers have a great experience? I mean, there are certain parts with that I imagine to do with like how you communicate with them, the service that you deliver. But you mentioned earlier about your gold packages as well.
yeah.
Now, other garages don't do that, do they?
No. Again, the gold packages, they're a bit of a no-brainer as far as the customer's concerned, which is exactly what we sought out to kind of produce and offer out. It's really the £15 deal is like introduction to the business, and then as you get to know us, because we've got service consultants who handle every client, they're quite heavily trained and monitored, so we ensure that they're offering you as best service as possible. We've got a nice waiting room with Wi-Fi and free refreshments. We've got courtesy cars which are all under 3 years old and automatics and manuals. We do pick up and collections for customers, and any service or repair work we basically valet the car.
Yeah,
So it's as good as you can get as an independent. So it's as close to a main dealer as possible. And because we are across market, we can offer for every budget type. So if you've got a nearly new Mercedes Benz and you want Mercedes parts used in it, you want Mercedes oils, all the correct stuff, we can offer that. We can also update the Mercedes database. We can update the BMW online
yeah,
database. We can update the car. So we've got all the top level stuff. But if you're on a tighter budget, uh, you've got an older car, etc., then you might not want to spend that much on it. So we can offer that alternative as well. So we can offer aftermarket parts. We can offer cheaper lubricants. So, we work across the range, so we can help the customers. Yeah, exactly that.
amazing. Guys, I see you dipping in and out as well. Let me know if you're watching because unfortunately I can only see the number of views that of people that are watching. Let me know in the comments if you are watching. I'd love to know. Just drop a hey, drop an emoji, anything. Let me know that you're here, basically. And also get your questions in as well. Get your comments in. I see a lot of views coming in, so I'd love to know your thoughts. Any questions that you have for Cameron around scaling up because he scaled up in a very unique business. I mean, I don't know any other garages that have scaled up to the length or the growth that he's had, basically. So yeah, get your comments in, get your questions in too. So Cameron, I know that I work with a lot of businesses who have also scaled up their
Yeah.
business, and I know the challenges that can come with that. Talk to us about the challenges over the years that you've had and kind of how you overcome them.
Yeah, obviously funding's a big thing.
Yeah,
You have to have luckily, because of my background in accounting and finance and the kind of network we've got around Birmingham, funding was something that I'm quite good at. I'm quite well networked with quite a lot of brokers and partners. So funding has always been, we're constantly doing different fundraising. We're constantly scaling the business and growing. So I think you need to have a good accountant and you need to have good finance brokers really to help you kind of scale and grow.
what kind of funding do you do?
Well, it's more because every time we scale up, we need more kind of equipment, and the
Yeah,
equipment and obviously the garage world is quite expensive. So, the extension of the MOT was like close to £30,000, and then all the ramps, they're 7,000 8,000 each. So every time because we get new ramps quite often, because
Yeah.
obviously we use the ramps quite heavily, so we have to change them out every 3 or 4 years, and so just renewing the services, just keeping everything on point, and just getting, because the cars are always moving on, which is a big thing in this industry, and they keep changing everything on all the new digital displays, etc. So you have to keep investing in new equipment and new training. So at the moment, a big thing is obviously electric cars and the hybrid
Yeah.
cars that are coming into marketplace. So there's a lot of training going around on that kind of stuff. So we're investing, quite heavily in that for our staff and the equipment. So we're kind of electric car ready, because obviously they are becoming more and more common.
Yeah. I mean, do you do like fundraising events or campaigns to just get that money coming in?
No, no. Well, we don't really do it from public. It's just
Okay.
generally around business, so like banks and financial institutions. So
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so we keep the business looking good, and keeps growing. The graphs are all going in the right direction, so we can optimize the business. So yeah, we look like an attractive proposition, which is the aim really.
Yeah. And I imagine for each level that your business has grown, your mindset has had to expand to that level as well. Do you do any personal development?
Yeah, I've got advisors, I've got a personal coach, and you never the finished article. You have to keep training, you have to keep learning all the new platforms, you have to keep learning where the market's moving. Like lately,
Yeah.
I've been doing quite a lot of training and quite a lot of stuff on TikTok. And
Yeah.
about 9 months ago, when I first saw it, I dismissed it as like nonsense. And now it's one of the biggest, fastest growing marketplaces out there. And at the moment, it's one of the cheapest platforms to advertise on. So we're utilising that quite heavily. We've actually been whitelisted for the beta testing for the advertising platform by TikTok.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah, so we're working with them at the moment, and trying to iron out the kinks, and trying to utilise that as best as possible. But the thing with it is, it's not very targeted at the moment. So like, because obviously we're quite regional, quite local based. Like the
Yeah.
service side is, the car sales is obviously national. So we're trying to work out the best way of advertising for each side of the business, really. But that's just a recent example. But we've had to just work across all social media channels, and just learn as much as we can.
Has your strategy adapted from each social media channel? Because they
Yeah,
obviously all have their own individual audiences, don't they? So
yeah.
imagine that the message cannot be the same on, like a TikTok message just wouldn't work on LinkedIn.
No, that's it. And the way the videos are, so because that's the thing, we don't utilize LinkedIn that much,
Yeah.
because there's I don't know. We're looking for more retail market, so Facebook's always worked really well for us, and then
Yeah.
TikTok, Snapchat, and all those kind of things. They're more for car sales, because it's obviously more on a national scale, and there's a lot
Yeah.
less relationship there. So it's basically doing cool videos and like doing cool things to get follows, and then building up that kind of brand awareness on there over time. So it's a bit more of an investment long term.
Yeah.
Whereas Facebook actually still yields us 70 to 80% of our website traffic. It's still very locally based, so we advertise a lot on the local groups, and our budget's quite heavy on Facebook, and we keep doing it because it keeps working, so it's great.
Have you got any recommended books or audios for our listeners or viewers?
I like, to be honest, I like, because obviously I did business management and finance at university, and A level and stuff. So all the standard textbooks and stuff, obviously, I worked through all those. But
Yeah.
the main things that I like are autobiographies, like of people in business. So I've read quite a lot over the years, and I think that's developed. Like, I remember snippets from like different people's books, and I
Mm.
think they were so right. Alan Sugar said this, Theo Pavita says this, and I'm seeing that now. Like I'm seeing that issue, and I
Yeah.
kind of recall it. So I like autobiographies. Like I watch a lot of the when a documentary comes out on Netflix about like the
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, like Bill Gates stuff, like his documentary, that was like his series. I like stuff like that, so I watch all that kind of stuff, and you get a real good understanding of their mindset, and you learn quite a lot.
I was going to say there's a certain advantage that you get from learning from people who have already done what you
Yeah,
want to do, right?
that's it.
I mean, one of my favorite autobiographies is Richard Branson's one.
Yeah, no, it's
It's like a
good.
mix of comedy but with seriousness as well.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Like my like coach, he's ex automotive, and he
Yeah.
already scaled his business up to 40 million a year. So he's been there, done that. He's got the t-shirt. So
Wow.
the kind of life lessons, and when I tell him a problem that we're having, he can immediately recall that he had the same issue. He spent 6 months doing the XYZ. In the end, they did this. So he advised me to do that straight away. So I just kind of cut the corner. So
Yeah.
it's worth its weight in gold. It really helps us. And it has, because one of the main problems has been for us is staffing and manpower, and the
Yeah.
management of that manpower, and how to build the culture within the workplace. That wasn't something I'd ever done before. And
Can you give
now
us
it's starting
a
to.
building culture in a workplace?
Yeah, it's been hard because we're especially in this industry, because it's very, very competitive for the staff. So
Mm.
it's really hard to keep them. So they've got to believe in the brand, they've got to believe in what we're doing, and they've got to see activity, they've got to see growth, because everyone's looking out for their own careers. So
Yeah.
it's been, the branding's been really good. So developing that brand, developing that online position, so that, they're proud to work here. They tell people they work in MotorServ UK, and hopefully they give them respect for it. It's a good thing. So
Yeah.
that helps a lot, and it gives them a lot of boost for themselves. And so when they come to work, they're proud to come to work here. We look after them as best as we can. We do team dinners, we do team activities, we give them lunch every Friday. We do as much as we can, and we do a lot of team activities. So like Christmas, during like Eid and stuff,
Yeah.
like, because we've got quite a lot of Muslims working here. And as the team's grown, it's just become easier to do that, and everyone kind of jumps on board with it. So it's good.
So so pretty much from day, like, did you find it easy to introduce that culture?
No, it's completely foreign to me at the time. That's why I got told, I got taught that
Yeah.
this is, the staff issues that you're having initially were because there's not a belief there. There's not, they haven't got the morale, they haven't got the kind of, the team
How,
environment.
how did you start to develop that then? Did you just sort of sit them around a table and say, "Hi guys, this is where the business is going"? Like,
It's
what was the
because so
process?
much stuff goes on day in, day out, and the nature of our business is, from 8 o'clock in the morning, well, before 8 o'clock in the morning till six, half six at night, it's non-stop. So we can't really sit down and have meetings, because if we
Yeah.
do, we're completely unproductive. The technicians, the cars stop. So we've had to formulate. So we've got like Google Chat internally. We've
Okay.
got shared sheets, and we've got like a notice board, and it's just basically keeping everyone on the same page. This
Yeah.
is what we're doing. This is what the objectives are. This is why we're doing it, and this is how we're going to do it. This is what we need every member of the team to do to achieve the objective. So, and then everyone kind of jumps on board with it, which is great, because they feel part of the team. They feel part of something.
Yeah. And I think that's a great strategy to have, to tell your team where where you're going,
Yeah,
but then also implement it as well.
yeah, exactly that.
Because I think
So,
there's a lot of business owners out there who talk the talk, but they don't actually take the action.
yeah, it is like, if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Especially like with staff and your stakeholders of the business. They are the business at the end of the day. So if they're not, if everyone's not working to their full potential, because the way that we see it now is everyone's part of the team, everyone's part of the mechanism and
Yeah.
the engine of the business. If there if
Was the
there's
pun
one person in the
intended?
business that's not doing it,
Yeah.
we don't even have to police it anymore. The staff themselves will either encourage that person,
Yeah.
or that person will just leave, because I'll be made, the rest of the team will make them feel bad about not doing the work, not like in
Yeah.
a bullying kind of way, but just they'll be like, yeah, everyone's trying to achieve, everyone's trying to do well, and they're trying to do a good job, they're trying to get the cars through, and they're working efficiently. If someone isn't, there'll be friction there between themselves, because they are trying to do their job, they're trying to achieve the figures, they're trying to
Yeah.
achieve the numbers, they're trying to achieve the customer service. Like, we have quite strict, so basically, if you come in for a service with us this week, you'll get a phone call next week from an independent team who'll basically
Mm.
get your feedback, and that feedback is directed straight back into us, to the whole team. So if someone has, if someone's fallen short of the service, everyone will know about it, and that's
Yeah.
kind of, again, self-policed internally. And now that person, they won't cut the corners, they won't take the risks, they won't think, oh, it's only one customer out of 1,000 this month. It doesn't matter. It does, because that call will come in next week, that complaint will be raised, it'll be logged internally, and your name will be all over it. So it's going to be you're letting the side down, you're letting the company down. So that's worked really well. So just implementing that one process has it's made massive differences.
Yeah. What tips would you have for businesses that are wanting to scale up?
It's you got to know the market. You got to know that because primarily the bread and butter's got to work of the business. Your P&L's got to work. The
Yeah.
sales revenue has got to cost of sales has got to be lower than your sales revenue, obviously, and you got to be able to produce a gross profit, and your overheads have got to stay quite low. So if you can scale it, you got to look at the market and you got to see if there's actually a demand for your product.
Yeah.
Can you scale it? First off, is there enough demand out there? If there isn't for your primary product, is there anything you can do that there is a bigger market for to kind of
And
to scale that business?
yeah, you mentioned P&L, and there's a lot of newbies that are watching this right now and will be watching this on the replay. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, drop a hashtag replay. Can you just explain what you mean by P&L?
Yeah, obviously I was told this by my coach, and I've been told this by advisors, but the only scorecard that counts is your accounts.
Mm.
It's that is what you're there for primarily. Obviously, you've got to have enjoyment in your job. You've got to have everything else around it, but primarily you set up the business to make money, and you
Yeah.
got to do that in an ethical way. You got to do that in the right way, but you're there to make money. So if the business isn't making money and it's making a loss, then don't bloody scale it, because it's going to just make a bigger loss. Don't
Yeah.
do something else, sidestep. You got to look for something else. I don't rip the company apart, but look for something that can introduce profit. Like look for, like from our perspective, say a service to grow it properly is quite organic, it's quite slow. So
Mm.
we took the massive, we were making losses for the first couple of years because the infrastructure cost so much, but we didn't want to like just ramp up the service so much that we couldn't handle it, that we'd lose control of the business, that we lose control of the customer service. So everything would just kind of go off the rails because that's what happens in a lot of businesses. They grow too quickly. So we
Yeah.
added on additional products. So we looked at like the gold plan. We looked at like what complements a business. That's car sales because
Yeah.
we can utilize the same infrastructure, the same manpower, the same resources to put a car for sale, and that'll
Yeah.
attract a different market. So and they're quite heavy, high ticket items. So that developed into its own, self complementing internal product. So it was, really good. So that helped us achieve faster growth because more money came in on there. So we were able to put more money into the marketing on the service. So that grew. So it kind of all self financed itself. But it was only when we started in the car sales that really we had the budget to kind of really push the service. Whereas before, we were kind of struggling just doing the service and just doing, what we're doing day in, day out. And we didn't have the money to do any marketing, any budget to,
Mm.
£15 MOT. Yeah, we would have done that. But then no one would have heard of it because, we wouldn't have had £5 a month to put into Facebook marketing to make sure that that would really, the message will get out there and the phone will get ringing. So you got to look at the business for its like basic, you got to break it down, look at the demand really.
Amazing. Guys, I can see we've got some new viewers coming in. Welcome to Live Wire TV. Let me know in the comments if you're watching, because I can only see the numbers. I can't actually see who's watching. I'd love to know if you are watching. Comment with a wave or one of your favourite emojis. We're broadcasting live across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Cameron, you mentioned a very key point just in your message just then.
Yeah.
For the past 2 years of your business, you were making a loss.
Yeah.
A lot of business owners would be looking at that and thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? This isn't working out. Do I pack it
Yeah.
in? Do I get a job? What kept you going for that time?
I kept analysing the market because I always knew the statistic from day one that there are 97,000 registered cars in the Solihull area.
Yeah.
So just in the Solihull area, there are 97,000 cars registered on the
Wow.
roads. So that's the market. So how many cars are we getting in? So and how much capacity have we got? Because we were only making losses because we put a hell of a lot of investment into the place. So we actually
Mm.
built a massive centre. We didn't have any cars coming in. So we just had to get more cars coming in. So the potential, you have to look at your potential, capacity, and that was
Yeah.
like in the millions. So it was like if we grow it up to that level, if we manage to get it up there, fast enough before we go under, then it'll be fine. So you have to look at the bigger picture, and you have to actually look at the market and see if there's actually demand, and if there's the possibility of getting past that point and kind of up the hill and over the other side of it.
So it's almost like you're starting with the end game and then working backwards.
Exactly that. So
Yeah.
you need to know where you can be. So here, when we first opened, we had 6 ramps. So I
Wow.
knew the mechanics of the business. So 6 ramps, 6 cars a day. Whatever the average invoice value is at that time, that's the maximum. So if we had 6 cars on every ramp every day, that's our maximum capacity. If I increase that to 10 ramps, if I
Yeah.
increase that to 12 ramps, which we've got the space for, because that was a critical thing. Because a lot of people, I see a lot of people starting out in the garage trade, and they buy basically they rent, they take on a long term commitment for a rent for a
Mm.
unit, and it's got two. It's got capacity for 2 ramps, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're going to be up to capacity within about 9 months, and then that's going to be your ceiling, and you're going to kind of stop there, and then you've got no room outside, you've got no room to do anything. So, but that's absolutely fine if someone's got that. That's their ambition to basically make an income. But
Yeah.
if you're looking to build a bigger business, if you're looking to have no limit, then you need to look at the capacity of your resources around you, or
Yeah.
have the ability to scale them and grow them.
So we've talked about the technical side of scaling up a business, and
Yeah.
I know that marketing is a very big part of scaling up any business. What kind of marketing do you guys do?
When we first started, it was really a suck it and see kind of scenario. It was kind of machine gun approach, do everything, and really by doing that, we attached tracking numbers to everything. So we got tracking numbers off the internet. There's quite a few companies out there you can look for, and they're very cheap because nowadays no one really cares what the phone number is. That's the critical
Mm.
thing. No one remembers phone numbers because they're all on our phones. They're all on Google. So
Yeah.
you don't need like a 705 7051, like so everyone can remember it because no one rings from memory. So we attached tracking numbers to everything. So our newspaper ads had one number, our courtesy cars had one number, billboards that we did had another number, and then and every week you get a report through, and it was just going into the data. So, and luckily I'm quite data minded, so I loved it. So looking at the graphs, looking at everything, and we could see that basically the biggest hit that we were getting was leaflets. So we were doing 10,000 leaflets because obviously we're a local service. So we were doing 10,000 leaflets a month, and it was all right. Okay, so if we increase that to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, how much is it going to cost? How many calls are we getting? How many of those are converting? How much is that transpiring into an average invoice value? Is it worth it? Yes. Are we
Uh,
doubling, tripling up the money? Yes. So we started doing 40,000 leaflets a month locally, it's kind of on standing order, standing process. So printers would just do it, they deliver it to the distributor would go out, we'd pay everyone weekly, and the calls kept coming in. And then doing things like PPC, SEO, because there's so much. Like I talk to people that are just set up in business, and they're like, "There's so many expenses. What the hell's SEO? What the hell's PPC? What the hell's then other internet advertisers?" Because obviously everyone starts ringing you then saying, "Do you want to advertise on this? Do you want to advertise on that? Do you want to advertise?" Yeah, we used to spend 560 quid a week in Solihull News, half
yeah.
page ad spread, thinking that it's a massive distribution, which it is. But people look at it for the news, the adverts. Like in my opinion, people don't really pay attention to the adverts anymore as much as they
Mm.
do on Facebook and on the leaflets and stuff. So, or they have to come and look for you on Google. So you're better off putting your budget there, and that's kind of what's happened over the years, like with printed media versus digital. So we just embrace that quite quickly because, like the local newspapers, were getting us about 5 calls a week, and we're
Yeah.
spending like 600 quid. Whereas on the leaflets, we're spending like 2-3 times that, but we're getting like 20 calls a day off them. So it was like, no
No
brainer
brainer.
really. So we quite concisely started allocating our marketing budget to where it works, and then scaling that, like turning the tap on and seeing what water we'd kind of gather from that. So Google, we started on like £500 a month budget on PPC.
Yeah.
Now we're on about 8 grand a month, and it's because each pound that we spend is transpiring into 35 calls a day, 40 email inquiries over a week. So in each one of those, we can follow them through our conversion chart, and we see what they turn into. So it's like, yeah, let's do this, let's do more of this, let's do more of this. But you got to kind of grow it quite, consistently, so you can actually deliver the services. So it works really well. So you have to know your data when you're looking at the marketing.
Do you know, I totally agree with you on that. People often come to me and say, like, what's the best marketing strategy for me? And I will say to them, if you're going down the paid route, spend a
Yeah,
little bit, see what's working, and then if it's working, great, do more of that. If it's not
yeah,
working, then you've not made a huge loss.
yeah. And
Yeah,
don't get downbeat, because you think of, because I always think of stuff and I think, oh, that's going to be like the best idea since sliced bread, and you go at it, you spend loads of time setting it up, and then you do it, and it's a complete flop. It just doesn't work. It just wasn't
yeah,
either, and then you either have to adapt it so it does work, or scrap it and just move on to something else. And you just have to do it. And you have to take a learning experience. So that didn't work. That road was a dead end. I'm going to try
yeah.
this road now. I'm going to try that road now. Because I remember one of the biggest things that we spent money on, Solihull traffic island in the middle of Solihull town centre. We were offered the advertising boards around that,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember the stats now, but it's something like 40,000 cars pass through it a day. So it's a
yeah,
bit busiest island in Solihull. It's got 5 arms. The Solihull town centre. The boards around that was £6,800 for a year.
yeah,
And as a quite at the time, it was a very high ticket for us. And we were like, oh my God, that's loads of money. And is it going to yield anything? Because you weren't even allowed to put your phone number on it. It was literally just brand and postcode.
oh,
You could only put very limited information on it. So we were like, what's that going to do for us? Like, it's not going to do anything. We're not going to be able to track it because we've got a phone number on it. But the amount of, so we did it because we thought it was a good opportunity, and everyone had heard of us. So when the leaflet started hitting the doorstep, they didn't know where they'd heard of us, but they'd seen our logos on the traffic island. So because everyone drives past it and their eye kind of catches it. So when the leaflet arrived, they were already familiar with the brand. Yeah. So did the call conversions off the leaflets get uplifted by that traffic island? I think yes, but I can't technically prove that. So that was, it was a bit of a stab in the dark, but it was more for a positioning thing, like more of a branding thing. So I think you need that differentiation of what's going to produce and what's a branding exercise.
absolutely. Cameron, where can the viewers connect with you?
Everywhere, anywhere you want, really. LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. We have to be on everything nowadays. And
Links to your socials in the
yeah,
comments.
of course, no, not a problem at all. But I'm available if anyone wants. If they need a car service, or if you're after a car, then please get in touch. Or if you want to just chat business and chat about marketing or anything else that you're having any issues with, I'll be more than happy to help.
And guys, I would recommend connecting with Cameron because he's an absolute influencer in his space, and he just does things a little bit differently, like us entrepreneurs do. So, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Do join us next week, 7 p.m, right here on Live Wire TV. We've got another juicy conversation with you. I cannot wait to see you there. Have an amazing week.
Thank you.